Today we're going to review hot sheets and market areas. So first we'll talk about hot sheets. So right now on my screen, what I have pulled up here is a hot sheet dashboard that I had created for our training account. You may not have a hot sheet dashboard, so you can add these hot sheet gadgets, what we call gadgets, to any of the dashboards that you have already. Don't feel like you have to have a separate one for hot sheets. But if you want to add one of these hot sheet gadgets to an existing dashboard that you already have, you can do so by coming up to Customize, click on Add Gadgets. You will go to Daily and click on either Add Gadget or Add Another if you already have a hot sheet gadget on your dashboard. So once you do that, you can click on Return to Dashboard. You'll notice here if I scroll down, it was added to the bottom of my page. As you can see, you can drag it to a different location if you wanted to. Now, when I add that gadget, what is added is just a hot sheet. It's not customized. What is showing is it defaults to a hot sheet for every town and every property type. You will see that other hot sheets on this screen have more than just hot sheet on them. That's because you can actually customize this if you would like to. So for example, you can come up to the 3 vertical dots of your gadget, click on Settings, and you can narrow it down. Maybe you just want, let's say maybe you just want the town of Bourne, and maybe you just want the property subtype of single family. You can do that. So this would just then, once I click on Save, it's just showing me the town of Bourne and the property type of single family. Whereas this hot sheet is showing me all property types, all property subtypes in all towns, whether they are in Barnstable County or not, or in the town of Bourne or not. All right, you can also on this gadget see that there's a time limit. So you can change that. This is viewing properties from the town of Bourne in the property subtype of single family for the last 24 hours. But you can view 48 hours, 72 hours, or 1 week. Now just know if you have it set up for a 24-hour hot sheet, on Mondays, it will automatically show you everything from the weekend. So Mondays are automatically 72 hours, even if you have 24 hours selected, for example. Great, so that's how you would add a hot sheet gadget onto your dashboards and how you would use it. And let me show you when clicking in here. So we will go to this Barnstable County one, let's say for 1 week. And you'll click on New Listing. Maybe you want to see the new listings for the last week. But you can also hover over the new listings and click a different action if you would like to. So maybe you want to see the new coming soon listings from the last week. You would be able to toggle through those different events. Now, I do want to point out, you see that there's an active listing, but we're viewing new coming soon listings. The reason why there's an active listing in here is because in the last week, this listing was coming soon at one point, and a new coming soon listing at one point. So depending on the time frame that you have selected, you will see listings. They may not match up the correct status, and that's because it's showing you an event rather than dependent on the status. Another hot sheet action you could do is click on Menu and then go to Hot Sheet. You can search the menu by typing in Hot Sheet. Oh, not Hot Search, Hot Sheet, which is under your dashboard. Oh, that's the wrong spot. So when typing in Hot Sheet, it's actually under Daily Functions. And you can run a 24-hour hot sheet. You can enter in the criteria that you're looking for and run a 24-hour hot sheet. Now, this only gives you 24-hour hot sheets. Again, Mondays, it will give you 72 hours. Also down at the bottom here, you have a custom hot sheet that you can run. So if you come into the custom hot sheet settings, You can set up different criteria that you would like to see. For example, this one's residential multifamily, has a couple towns selected, no price range there. So if I were to come back here, this says that the last time I ran this hot sheet was on April 30th. So if you click on Run Custom Hot Sheet, it will run a hot sheet and show you all of the listings that meet that criteria back to this date and time. So that's how you would run a custom hot sheet. Now we're going to move on to market areas. So to find market areas, you would go to Menu, and you can type in market areas, and they'll be under daily functions. And market areas is a great tool because it gives you a place to store all of your hot sheets for your areas. So you can create specific areas and you can control the timestamp. It's kind of like the custom hot sheet that I just showed you, but you can have multiple at one time. And you can control the events that you're viewing as well. So first I'm going to show you how to create a market area. So first we'll click on New. We're going to name the market area. So let's do Yarmouth. I'm going to do a market area for Yarmouth. And you can come in here. Maybe I just want to see the new listings and price changes. So I would just click those two, but you can select all if you wanted to, but you can customize to just what you want to see. Now I don't already have a saved search, so I'm going to come in to create a new search. And there's something very important when creating a saved search for a hot sheet or a market area, for example. And that is that you need to uncheck status. As I said earlier, hot sheets and market areas, they are not dependent on a status, but rather an event that occurred. So for example, we're trying to look at new listings and we're trying to look at price changes. But if I have the status selected, it's not going to give you the right results because new listings in the last time you ran it may not always still be active when you run this market area. They may have transitioned into temp off market or pending or even closed at that point, depending on how long ago you ran your market area. So I'm just going to keep it on the residential property type, but you could change this to a different one by clicking on Change Search Template. Again, you have to uncheck status. And then we can come down and select other criteria. So I'm going to enter in the town of Yarmouth. Select that there. And if you don't see something on this list that you want to add, you would come down to add a field. I'm going to add a garage, for example. We're going to say yes, that we want a garage. All right, so once you're done selecting your criteria, you're going to come up to Save. Get this out of the way. And then Save Search. And then we're going to have a box pop up and we're going to name this search. So I'm actually going to name it Yarmouth with garage and hot sheet. Actually, I'm going to put hot sheet first. Hot sheet, Yarmouth with garage. And the reason I'm putting hot sheet is just so you can identify what your hot sheets are. Again, remember that hot sheets uncheck status, so it may not be a normal search that you want to set someone up with on a subscription, for example. We want to know that this is specifically being created for a hot sheet purpose. All right, so once you name it, you're going to come down and click on Save. And it brings us back to our market area creation. So again, we named it Yarmouth. We selected new listing, price change. And now because we have a saved search created, I'm going to click on this saved search here and then locate my hot sheet Yarmouth with garage. And I'm going to click on Save. And you'll notice that Yarmouth was added to my list here, but I first going to show you other market areas that have previously been created on this training account. So first, let's go to Barnstable. And I want to point out, you can click on update. Now what this update button is going to do, it's going to show you how many new listings or the results for the events that you have selected. So for example, this one looks like it has all of the events selected. And what this is based off of is this timestamp down here. So this was last run, May 12th of 2022 at 9:10 a.m. So these are all the results for this hot sheet, which is searching CCIMLS for residential multifamily listings in the town of Barnstable. So there have been 707 new listings that meet this criteria since May 12th, 2022 is what this is showing. When I come down to Yarmouth, if I click on update, you'll notice that Yarmouth does not have a timestamp, and that's because we haven't created one yet. And when you don't create a timestamp ever, it is going to default you to a 24-hour hot sheet. So what this is telling me is that in the last 24 hours, there has been 2 new listings that are residential property type with a garage and in the town of Yarmouth. So we could click on view, for example, to view these listings. So it will show us those 2 new listings. If there were any price changes, we could also toggle over to the price changes by hovering over new listings. So you can just view these. What I'm going to do is go back to market areas, come down to Yarmouth, and you'll see I still do not have a timestamp. But I can go back into view and still see those same exact listings that I just saw. So again, going back to market areas. And if I decide, I've looked at these listings, I'm okay with them, I want to set a timestamp at this point. I want to click on reset and view. And what that is going to do is reset the timestamp. Now, because I don't have a timestamp, it's going to create one. But if I already had a timestamp, such as Barnstable, it will reset it to today's date. So again, come down to Yarmouth, click on reset and view. And it's still going to show you those listings that meet that criteria. So you can still see them. But when you come back to market areas, go back to Yarmouth, now I have a timestamp. And when I click on update, I don't have any matches. And that's because I updated my timestamp to be this very moment. So no new listings or price changes have happened in the last 30 seconds, which is why I don't have any listings that meet this criteria. Now, if I come back 3 weeks from now, I can run it and see how many listings meet this criteria within the last 3 weeks. So what this does, market areas, it gives you control over your hot sheets, and it gives you control over those timestamps. So you don't have to remember, I have to go in and view this hot sheet at 10 a.m. every day to make sure I don't miss any listings. This is just another way of doing that. Again, if I click on view, it's not going to update this timestamp, but if I click on reset and view, it will update the timestamp. Okay, and that's how you would run a market area. Again, you would just quickly, to review it, you would come up to new, name the market area, select the events you want, create a search. And the most important thing to remember when creating a search is to uncheck status, because it's not dependent on the statuses. Hot sheets highlight changes that have occurred in a specific amount of time and not dependent on statuses. Should you have any questions on this training, please feel free to reach out to the MLS office. We can be reached at MLS support at CCIAOR.com. Thank you.